All right, guys, here we are. We're down at a beach called Rothesay Bay. Check this out, beautiful spot. This is in the East Coast Bays in Auckland, New Zealand. I actually grew up here. I don't live here now. My parents live here. Anyway, I've just come off, what was it, like 2 full weeks of mural painting here in New Zealand. I painted 3 murals. I've just had a couple of days where I've just been trying to decompress and just, you know, come back to like normal life. So I head away to Queenstown, which is the bottom of New Zealand. Beautiful, like mountainous town, the lakes. Anyway, it's kind of when you think of New Zealand, you think of Queenstown. So I've just before I go down there and get frozen to death because it's like 3 degrees, a high of 3 degrees, a low of -3, and it looks like in 3 days from now there's going to be snow. I thought I'd just start to do some things that help me just to, as I say, like decompress. So I've got my sketchbook, I've got 2 pens. Well, I've got a bag full of pens, but I'm only going to use 2 pens, and one of them effectively isn't even a pen. So one thing I'm realizing since just walking down here, epically enough, I was like, where am I going to sit? Oh my gosh, this is perfect. So all I have to do is take my brand new chair that I found and find a spot, set up, and I can paint right in here. All right, so this is probably pretty good setup here. I feel like I don't even need the jacket. It's pretty it's been freezing. It's actually pretty warm today. So here you go. I've got the sketchbook. It's just like a nice watercolour sketchbook. I think it's Fabriano. Well, I did a little sketch this morning. Look at that. Went for a coffee and just like, as I said, everything I'm trying to do is just kind of relax after the last few weeks. So this here I reckon is probably like a good little setup. I'm really liking these rocks along here, and you can't even see those here. I'll give you the rocks to look at. So there's these rocks along here, and then there's the ocean, and then quite like the shape of the sand here. But the you might be able to just see it. There's like there's a bit of land in the background. It's actually an island called Rangitoto. It's a volcano. So here in Auckland, there's like 60 volcanoes. I think it's 60 something. Anyway, it's 60-ish volcanoes. So it's basically just a giant volcano city. They're all dormant, which means they aren't active, but could start up anytime and just blow up all of Auckland. There's a beautiful, like they do the America's Cup out here. There's a whole bunch of islands, and if you go around further, there's just like, yeah, it's actually just a beautiful paradise, but it is quite cold. This morning, I went down to my parents' garage where I've got a suitcase, and I'm storing like all my junk down there at the moment. Anyway, I just went and looked for some pens, and I found one wrapped in plastic. I've had it for a couple of years. It's this Posca pen. Anyway, I have used these like heaps over the years, and I use them for like lots of murals, for lots of live drawing, for a whole bunch of that stuff, but this was the first time I'd opened one and used it in a sketchbook just to try it, and it actually was so epic. I'd never liked the really thin nibs on these, so I found them too fine, but there was something about the paint on the watercolour paper and the kind of tooth that had. I was just like loved it. So I'm going to draw with this today. I've got water brush, just a round one, and I'll use that just to mix in with a bit of this.
What are you capturing?
I'm drawing.
Are you drawing?
Like a landscape illustration.
Oh, very nice.
So yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, One thing I always like to do first is Oh yeah, that feels so good on that paper. Let's draw a border. The shape of the beach, so I want my horizon to be here, so I can put in my horizon. Oh, got it off a bit. Horizon line, so you imagine with a horizon line, if anyone was walking along the beach, which they're not, the heads would all land there, whether they're small or big. Didn't bring my clips with me, which is kind of annoying, but... Alright, so let's just go for it. Let's just draw some stuff. So they can be buried in some sand. So what I'm doing here is just looking at the loose shape of the rocks. There's one that juts up like this. And I'm just drawing in a really loose style. A loose style is good because you don't have to judge it or spend too much time on it. And there's all these little rocks out here. I'm not actually drawing every individual little rock. I'm looking and going, oh, that looks kind of flat, let's put a flat rock in there. So to be honest, it's kind of like, you're sitting here drawing out, but it's actually like a piece of design as well. And that's good. The one thing you always want to be looking at is like, is your composition still looking quite good? So I think yes. Okay, my horizon's over there. So I've got this bit of reef that kind of sticks out here. That can be quite dark because it's off in the distance. And then that has this crazy cliff jutting out. And then what we're going to have is some trees. Those trees up on the cliff are called Watercolours, and the cliff has these kind of like lines that run off like this. Hey, how's it going? Good. I think he was wondering what I was doing there, eh? Yeah, I'm just drawing and filming. Alright, so there's actually buildings up there, but that building actually looks like crap, to be honest. Because, I mean, it's wrapped in like a shrink wrap, so this is a good thing about art, is we get to just go, nah, I'm not going to put that in there. I'm actually going to fill that in with, let's put a nice house, so we'll give a little bit of perspective, so perspective's running off like that. We can just suggest that there's some sort of building in there. And amongst some trees and a bit of rock as well. And remember, we're keeping it loose. So one of my favourite bits to draw in is rangitoto, because rangitoto is like one sec. What do you reckon? I'm pretty stoked on this, to be honest. I'm actually quite stoked at how well this went. Generally, when you've got to sit down and draw with the camera on, you stuff it up. But I feel like I managed to actually do something pretty good here. Good. Yeah. Stoked. Alright, so if you like this, feel free to subscribe to this channel and give it a like. And then forward it on to someone, that always helps. But yeah, this is me, just being me, doing my thing in the town that I grew up in. I won't be back for a while, but I thought I'd just make the most of it by painting something that was really special to me as a kid growing up. So yeah.